These are fun.
Here we go. Here we go. Hey, hey, hey. I just want to welcome you to, I call it my Generosity Network Spotlight. So this is a spotlight where I'm just going to aim to highlight several business people in my network who are generous and they're doing good work out there. My name is Arnel Tanyag with Tanyag Company. I help key leaders in construction, real estate, and trades who are in their breaking point because they're struggling with tremendous pressure to perform their role due to high demand at the work, high levels of stress, and they're not taking care of themselves, leading to burnout. And there's always issues of uncertainty to hire, train, and lead a team. Our proven approach helps them gain clarity, courage, and confidence to serve the challenges and issues. So we have proven systems of success. And one of the proven systems of success is I have a very strong network of people locally. So I want to introduce a good friend of mine and generosity member, Sean. Sean, how you say your last name so I don't brutalize
Schroeder.
it? Sean
Schroeder.
Schroeder.
Yes.
So I'm excited to share with you his story and how he helps the community. So Sean, tell me, how did you get started in the business?
Dude, this is back in 2000 and I think 2001 timeframe. I was a software engineer, database programmer, etc., and I hated it. That gig really, it wasn't for me.
Wow.
So my wife and I bought a home, and the broker at the time suggested I get into this thing called real estate. So I quit my job, got my license, and my wife was like, "What the hell are you doing? This requires sales, talking to people." And I was like, "How hard can it be?" Well, I found out it was pretty damn hard. So my broker sent me to the Hampton Roads Chamber of Commerce, and I went to this thing called the Catalyst. You remember that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I remember that. Yes.
That's where you and I met.
Yeah.
So, long story short, that's how I got into it, and I've been stuck in this and doing this ever since.
Yeah, and you actually specialize in a certain niche, am I correct?
Yes, I started off like most agents, told to just work in a general field, work for everything and everybody, right?
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I put an end to that, and I started focusing only on seniors and their families.
Hmm. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. What are some reasons you like that part of the business than the seniors?
So let me rewind a little bit. Before I got into the systems programming, well, it also included system programming. And also before that, I was a pest control technician. And I always looked for the why. How can I be effective? How can I help? How can I be of service, be of value, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, being a general real estate agent didn't let me express how I can be of service. It wasn't fulfilling. So when I started working with seniors, I started finding this group of people who needed help, needed some guidance.
Mm-hmm.
They could turn to this group of people out there, but no one really specializing in the home as it pertains to estate sales and or probate, or what to do before that happens without feeling like they're being sold.
Hmm.
So I kind of step in that role and help out with that kind of stuff.
That's pretty good. So who are your ideal clients you work with or want to work with?
So my ideal clients basically are the seniors and or their adult children.
Hmm.
So anyone who's looking to help mom and dad or a family member right size, they call it right sizing nowadays, to
Yeah.
right size. Maybe the family member has to eventually move out of the house
Hmm.
and go into assisted living, go into a smaller condo, do something that's smaller, more manageable for themselves.
That's cool.
So I help them plan that. On the flip side, a lot of times families contact me and they've lost a loved one,
Hmm.
but they had a will and the will wasn't sufficient to help them sell the house. So I have networks that help them resolve those issues.
Yeah, and you actually work with people in the senior space, right? Because they could be ideal clients for you too, because they can send you people because you're actually really good in that niche. Am I correct?
That's correct. I work with attorneys, lawyers, financial advisors, CPAs, home healthcare professionals, and many times they have clients who need help, and we work together in serving our clients.
That's really good. Now, what are some problems or challenges you see right now that people are coming to you for?
I'm sorry.
What are some challenges that you see or problems you see right now that people are coming for you or you
Uh,
anticipate they should come to you because you see it in your specific niche?
so what I find is that many people, probably about shoot 60% of people, don't have basic planning. So as a real estate agent, I don't get into the whole estate planning aspect. I focus on the home. And what they don't have are the legal papers, legal authority a lot of times to actually sell a home.
Hmm.
Many people think that because there's a will, a simple will, that names someone as the executor, that they automatically have the power and authority right then and there to sell a home.
Yeah, that's correct.
And only thing that will does is really it tells the courts what the decedent's wishes were. It's
Hmm.
up to the court to provide the legal authority to let the executor sell the home, and then a plan is set up. So this is the biggest thing I find is that the family hasn't set up the right planning to allow the family or the executor to actually sell the home to deal with the bills,
Oh wow.
and even pre-death they don't set up the durable power of attorneys to allow the family members to help take care of bills while they're incapacitated or having memory issues.
Okay, so basically you're like a connector in that space. There you're going to help them with the home because when you like my mother-in-law, she's in a home, and so we know we have to deal with the home. So you've been assisting with us with that, and that's a
Right.
that's a that's a headache because I mean that instead of having our own home, we got another home we got to work on too. So we don't
Yes.
know all that stuff. And you recommended that we get I think it was a transfer death deed. I was like,
You have a TODD, a transfer on death deed.
yeah, yep, yep, yep. And you're right.
Yep.
We went to Hook Law and got it set up, and they recorded it. So I was like, honey, we're good.
Yeah, you should. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't give legal advice,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
So, but yeah, you should be good when the time comes.
yeah,
The trigger will occur.
yeah.
As I understand any durable power of attorney that you guys have will cease to exist, but that TODD will kick in, allowing you and your wife the ability to move forward and liquidate the house.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. So should they wait to talk to you when it the family member is sick, or they be talking to you when they have an elder family member now? Because I think when people go into like a hook law or something like that, and they talk about getting their Medicaid planning, they probably need to talk to a real estate agent in that process anyway, because they need to prepare for the home because the home is their biggest asset, but it's a lot of stuff you have to handle. Like, yeah,
Yes. There's a lot of things at play. So the attorneys at a Hook Law Firm, when they do the estate planning, they plan for the estate.
yeah,
They plan on how to settle accounts and how to handle different accounts, how to get around probate, and all
yeah,
these other cool things. But their expertise stops at real estate. So
yeah,
they can't really talk about real estate. They can't perform real estate duties, much like I can't talk about legal stuff. I can't provide legal um, help.
yeah,
I can kind of touch on a little bit and then say, "Hey, Arnel, I think you should talk to Teach over Hook Law about getting a TODD. That might work." And then you guys talk and find out that is the right path to take. So my thinking is that people can come talk to me about their house, and the question would be, how do we set the house up so that my family members can sell the house, execute my wishes? And because I have 3 or 4 siblings and brothers and sisters, I don't want them fighting over what to do. I've already got that plan laid out.
yeah,
The attorney set the plan up. We've got everything in place to allow Sean and some other real estate
yeah,
agent to execute the plan. And now no one can get mad at anyone else except for the decedent.
yeah. That's true. And if so, it's and what I'm hearing is they should talk to you early if they already have elderly parents.
Yes.
Like because they say you have to have like 5 years before you do Medicaid planning and stuff like. They should talk to you then. They should talk to you if the family members living by themselves or they're older living by. I mean, they should be talking to you about because they don't know what to do in the home when it's too late, and then they're got all this stuff going on. So, I mean, do you find that people wait too late, or they should talk to you early? I mean, what would you recommend to them?
We're a society of procrastinators who want everything satisfied right then and there.
Okay.
So everyone puts it off the last minute and then they want it resolved right then and there.
Okay.
So like you and I always talk about, you don't know what you don't know, right?
That's correct.
So yeah, ideally anyone who's like 30 years old, 40 years old and has an adult parent, they should actually say, Mom and Dad, we need to have a talk because I have a family. I don't want my family disrupted
Yeah.
with dealing with issues that are arising from your lack of planning.
Yeah, that's true.
So let me see the will, let me see your power of attorneys, let me see all this stuff. And if they get the blank face, you turn around and say, okay, Mom, Dad, you've always made sure that things are easy for me. I need you to make things easier for me in the future by doing this, and then having a come to Jesus talk
Yeah.
about, getting at least getting a will squared away, and at least getting the TODD squared away, and then build upon that, and maybe even a trust of some sort from that point. But the goal is, how do we make things easier for the family as time progresses, and it progresses quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And I think they say, one of the biggest assets in America is the home dream is buy a house. So when your parents have a house or they have multiple, houses and stuff like that,
Yep.
I mean, who's going to help them navigate that? Because like you said, the attorney is law, you're the real estate person. Now it's just, and a lot of people, they plan for their retirement, but they don't plan to get sick. So when they get sick, that retirement's gone, and then the house could be something that could be used as an asset to fund, for us to fund my mother-in-law's place to live. So a lot of times, what happens is that it sounds like it doesn't matter what if it's before, if they have some the elderly parent, they should talk to you. If they had a crisis, health crisis, they should talk to you. I mean, they should just
Yep.
be talking to you if they have elderly parents
Yes.
living with them, or they have a house, because because I think that the pressure is almost 10x when it's a house and it's not their house anymore. And what do I do with it?
Exactly.
It's exhausting. Yeah, I get that.
So there's this thing called Medicaid look back period. It's
Yeah,
5 years. So the senior, when they go into Medicaid,
yeah,
they can't have more than, I think it is now, and I might be corrected on this, like $2,000 of assets or something like
yeah,
that, right?
2000, yeah, 2000. That's correct.
Yeah. So a home is relatively more expensive than $2,000.
Yeah,
So by having a home, that could cause a problem. So because it's 5 year look back,
yeah,
the family needs to start planning 6 or 7 years prior to them actually going into the facility, or go or down or using Medicaid.
yeah,
So they have a 7 year plan window to plan. So maybe
yeah,
they get a hold of me and say, "Hey, look, mom's not doing well. She's starting to have little signs of dementia, whatever else. We need to get in-home care, so she can age at home. How do we make this work so that we're not hit with Medicaid issues in the future,
that's
and or lose our eligibility, whatever it might be?" So I work with the law firms to create a plan to make this happen.
that's very good. So, can you share a story how you helped one of these type of clients in the past?
Sure, I can look back recently. So there's a family that family member got sick, came down with dementia,
Hmm.
and just like I was talking about, they had a will, and when things started occurring, they didn't. They believed that the will set them square. Once they had the will, they were ready to rock and roll. Well, the person hadn't passed away yet, just coming down dementia and whatnot. So with the will, they thought they could just execute everything. They didn't have a power of attorney. They didn't have anything. So what we ended up doing is, after I reviewed the will, we found that there's a lot of language that should be there that wasn't there.
Yeah.
So the attorneys I know tell me that I know enough to be dangerous. So I gotta be
Yeah.
very careful how I say things. So
Hmm.
when I reviewed the will, I suggested that they turn around, talk to an attorney. I referred them to an attorney. The attorney was able to get things all squared away. It took some time. They got things squared away. And because they're dealing with memory issues and they want an age in place, I was able to turn them over onto at-home care services and get them taken care of there. So now they're ready to, when the time comes, to execute the plan and sell the house and satisfy the other needs.
Hmm. So it sounds like you're a pretty good connector in that space.
I try to be. I work towards that.
Yeah, it sounds like, yeah. So, and then I think and that niche is, something you enjoy, right? Am I correct? Sounds like you do enjoy that niche.
I do. I enjoy helping the families. I enjoy not creating problems, but solving problems, not having to, not being the bad guy. When a lot of times in real estate, the real estate agents are the
Mhm.
bad guys.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. That's right. That's right.
and I know they don't like hearing that, but
Mhm.
I'm not looking to get my name on leaderboards. I don't need
Yeah,
awards or anything else like
yeah,
that. I'm there to service and provide
yeah.
service to the families who need service.
If somebody could describe you to people of how you help them, how would they describe what you do for them? What do you think how they would describe you?
I don't know, Arnel. That's a hard question for me to talk about myself.
Well, what would they think? What would they think they would say?
um, I hope they'd say that I'm conscientious, that I look to help other people. I put people before my needs.
Mhm.
Their concerns are more important at the time than my concerns.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and, yeah, and the hardest thing is, you work with seniors, you're really working with the seniors, the parents, and the kids who now are
yes,
responsible of taking care of not only their own family, now they have to take care of their parents. And there's
yes,
always doesn't matter if it's like two, three kids or five kids, there's always somebody responsible to drive that. And so you help them navigate through that on the real
yes,
estate side, which is really important because those home is an asset. And so a lot of times
it is.
it's a lot easier when you're buying your own, but when you're having to deal with somebody else's asset, you don't know what you have. And you got to have a good real estate agent who is specialized in that niche because it's a lot easier because like you're the runner recommended the transfer of death deed. I was like, oh, great, that thing's done. I don't have to worry about that stuff. I mean, it was a lot easier to get it taken care of. So
Yeah.
how, how would you have, if somebody needed your service, how would you have them contact you? What do you think is the best way to do it?
I make it really easy. So the two easiest ways, either call me or text me.
Okay.
Texting is probably the quickest way to get a response from me because of the spam calls.
Okay.
Or they can go to my website, c21vab.com,
Okay. And what's the number they should text you at?
757
Mhm.
839 3954.
Okay. 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 If somebody needed your service right now, um, they probably should text you. They probably go to your webpage. Can you tell a little bit your process? How do you get them started in your process?
So it's an onboarding system. So
Oh,
currently they text me. In this case, they'll say, "Hey, Sean, heard you on Arnel's video.
yeah.
Need to talk to you about my mother's estate. We need to sell it. We got these problems going on." The first thing I'm going to do is call them, and we're going to set up an appointment, meet them at the house.
Mhm.
I'm going to ask them to bring their documentation, their wills. So like before, I said I need authority to sell the property.
Yeah.
So I'll either need the certificate of trust, I believe it's called,
Yeah.
that gives the administrator of the trust authority to sell the property,
Yeah.
or I'm going to need proof of title, the
Yep.
deed, or I'm going to need the paperwork from the probate circuit court. In lieu of that, I need at least see the will and make sure that it has the right verbiage in there that will allow the probate court to provide that power to sell the property. And then from there, we'll ask other questions and formulate a plan.
Okay. That's really good. Yeah. So in the reason I'm doing this, I call the Generation Network Spotlight is spotlight people like Sean because he does a very specific niche. He's helping me with my own mother-in-law's house. And I want to just recommend him to other people in my network because I believe you're looking for people in niches because that's their passion and where they spend time with. That means that and doesn't mean that anybody else can do it. It just means that there's a familiarity and an expertise that it makes it easier to go and ask somebody because then they're not having to catch up. He's in that space all the time. So I highly recommend if you have a need where you have an elderly parent that's living by themselves, or you notice their health issues, and you're not sure, better to talk to Sean right now than find out later. And when you have to deal with all this stuff going on, better to not just worry about your estate plan and worry about the assets around the home. What are you going to do with the home? Because usually that's, it's this, most people prepare for their estate plan, but I think they need to have a how to prepare for my mother and father's house.
Yeah,
And
they need a real estate exit plan.
yes, well, it's true because I'm right now, I'm like, and like, I'm like, I got to get this to the house, got to get this to the house, got to get this to the house. And
Yep.
my wife's like, you handle that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Isn't that how it always is?
Yeah, the
Yep.
husband's handling it.
But you have all the connectors. You're the connection for your wife.
I know. I don't. And my
Yeah.
wife, she says you should be excited. Yeah, just another thing on my to-do list to get on and do the
Yeah.
project.
Hey, you got 24 hours a day. You're good to go. You're
Oh
rocking and rolling.
God, yeah, I know what you're saying. So I think, so everybody who watches this video and stuff like this, I really believe that, Sean will be able to help you, especially again, if you're like me in the 50s and you got elderly parents and they're getting older, like you said, you want a real estate exit plan. You want to really know what I'm going to do with that house, my parents' house, because you don't want to be, it's interesting. Knowing what I know now, you want your parents to keep the house updated, and then you want to know what it is so that if anything happens, you're able to execute fast, and
Mhm.
Sean can help you with that. So if you have a need for that, please reach out to him. I recommend him. I think he's really good at what he does. And I think that's one of the things I do with this generation. I call it Generosity Network Spotlight. Is spotlight local people, like it says, together we change, lasting change. Generosity transforms lives. So again, I want to thank you for watching this video. I want you to share some great people in my network with my business community. Stay tuned for the next guest. I'm Arnel Tanyag, powered by Tanyag Company. I'm going to get Sean's information, his link to his website, his number, put it in here so you can reach out to him. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope this is helpful. Sean, thanks for being in here.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
You too. Thank you then. All right, bye.
Bye.
All right.
How'd that work out?
Oh, let me stop. Yeah, it worked out really good. How did I stop this?
I was trying to make sure I look at the camera.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, well, you did good, man. You did really, I mean, I'll tell you what, you did really good. Look, here's the thing about this thing I was telling somebody. It's just, let me stop.